right, we're good there. Okay, cool. All right. The time is 11:07. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. This is Clayton County Magistrate Court first appearance. Today is August the 27th. The time is 11:07 a.m. I'm Judge Daniel Nagel. I'm going to go over some information with you before I speak with each one of you individually about your case and what is going to take place today. First and foremost, I want to let you know that this is an informative hearing. This is not an evidentiary hearing. What that means is this is not a place where evidence is going to be presented by you nor the prosecuting party. All right. So this is not a hearing where you're going to tell your side of the story. This is not a part of a hearing where you're going to present any evidence or any witnesses or any statements or physical evidence or anything like that. So just keep that in mind when we are speaking. Don't talk to me about the facts and circumstances of your case and what your defenses are, because it is being recorded. And so law enforcement can go back and take what you say and potentially use that against you. What will happen is I'm going to inform you of the nature of the charges against you, whether they are misdemeanors or felonies or a mixture of both, what your bond amounts are if you are getting a bond on certain charges, if you have any special conditions of those bonds, your next court date, and which will be your preliminary hearing. Now, at that hearing, if you do not bond out, then that is an evidentiary hearing. There you can have witnesses, make the state call witnesses to prove beyond a preponderance of evidence whether or not there is or probable cause, whether there is enough evidence to move forward. But that's not going to be today. All right. Lastly, I'll ask if you want to hire your own attorney or be considered for a court-appointed attorney. You also have the option to represent yourself, but I do not recommend that because you will be held to the same standard as an attorney. All right. Lastly, I will ask if you have any questions. But if your questions are not limited to what are my charges, when is my next court date, what is my bond, and do I have any special conditions of my bond, I'm probably not going to be able to help you. Every single time somebody wants to talk to me about the facts and circumstances of their case, I'm not going to allow that. So I'm probably going to cut you off. So pay attention right now. Don't talk to me about what your defense is. Save that conversation between you and your lawyer. Some general things that people ask me that come up all the time. What's the process for bonding out? I cannot give you legal advice. What I can give you some general guidelines. Typically, a bonding company charges somewhere between 10 and 20%. Okay, that's not a law. That's not a rule. That's just general knowledge based on me being a lawyer for the past over a decade in the Clayton County area. Okay, so for example, if your bond is $1,000, the typical bonding company is going to be somewhere between $100 and $200. For every 1,000, you just go up another $100 or $200. Okay. I cannot tell you what the bonding procedures are, what they require, whether it can be yourself, a friend, a family member, how long they have to be residents, or any of those things. I do not know. Okay, so please don't ask me those questions because I'm not going to be able to help you. It's not that I don't want to help you, it's that I just don't know. Okay. Also, special conditions of bond. The most common types of special conditions are stay away from a certain person. If I say do not have contact with a certain person, guess what that means? Do not have any contact with them. That means calling them, texting them, WhatsApp, Instagram, Kik, Twitter, Facebook Messenger, or any other creative way that you think that you can have contact with this person. Don't do it. If you do have contact with that person, you're violating the conditions of your bond, which could lead to more charges. And guess what? If you come back on that charge, guess what a judge is not likely going to do? Grant you a bond, because you've already shown that you can't obey by the bond conditions on certain charges. Okay. Another type of special condition is to stay away from a certain location. Guess what? Very simple. Do not go back to that location. Sometimes it is a residence where you may have your personal belongings. It may be even your own residence, okay? A lot of times, unfortunately, if it is a matter of domestic violence or a domestic dispute, I have to order people not to go back to their own residence. Don't argue with me about it. It's not something that you're going to win. However, if it is a residence in which you have certain belongings, I can put in your bond paperwork that you are allowed to go back there and get your stuff until either A, your case is resolved, or B, your attorney files a motion to change the bond conditions to allow you back into that residence. But until that happens, you cannot go back there. The way that you get your belongings is either A, you can have someone go and get your belongings for you, right? But you cannot go back there. Or B, as it says on the bond paperwork, you can go get your stuff, but you have to use the sheriff's office. They will go with you to make sure that no harm comes to you, no harm comes to other people, and no harm comes to your neighbors and the general public in Clayton County. Okay, it's very important that you do not violate that bond condition because, like I said before, you could pick up more charges and likely find yourself in the Clayton County Jail without a bond. All right. Your next court date is going to be a preliminary hearing. For those of you who have felony offenses, it's going to be September the 25th. If you have nothing but misdemeanors, it will be September the 26th. If you bond out, you do not need to appear for that particular court date. All right. You will get a notice of your next court date in the mail. So you want to make sure that your address is up to date with the clerk's office and the sheriff's department. Okay. If you do not bond out, that will be your next court date where you can have an evidentiary hearing, or your attorney can work with the prosecuting office to work out a bond or potentially a resolution of your case. Okay. Lastly, again, I will ask if you want to be considered for a court-appointed attorney. You all should have been given an application. Hopefully you filled that out, because if you didn't, I can only assume that you have hired your own attorney or will hire your own attorney. And then if you change your mind, we can always accommodate you, but I may have to ask you questions because there are guidelines as it relates to qualifying for court-appointed attorney. Okay. Let's see. Oh, sometimes there is a delay between when I'm speaking and when you hear me, and then when you speak and when I hear you. So when I am talking to you directly, just make sure you give it a second to make sure that I am done speaking, and I will do the same. That way we're not talking over each other, and it just slows everything down. Okay, so wait for me to finish speaking and then you can speak. Make sure you speak loudly and clearly, and make sure you use words like yes instead of yeah, and no instead of nah or or anything like that, because again, this is being recorded. Want to make sure that we get the correct response from you. Okay. Lastly, don't ask me about signature bonds or OR bonds or reconnaissance bonds. I have already made that determination. So I have already assumed that everyone has asked me for that. So please don't waste your time, the jail's time, or my time by asking me for that. Now, before we begin with the female side, I just need everyone to participate by raising their right hand, please. All right. Do you swear or affirm that the statements you make shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? You can say, I do.
I do.
Okay, very good. So we'll start with the female side first, and then we'll move to the male side. Okay. What's your name, ma'am?
Clayton Ballard. No, sir, I'm the actor.
Oh, Miss Ballard. Okay.
Yeah.
Give me just a moment. Okay, Miss Ballard, you were charged with one misdemeanor count of possession of marijuana less than an ounce, and one, looks like one felony count of violation of Georgia Controlled Substances Act. I am gonna, on the misdemeanor charge, the bond is 1,000. On the felony charge, the bond is 3,000. So your total bond is $4,000, okay?
Yes,
Uh,
sir.
your next court date is going to be on September the 25th. However, if you bond out, like I said, you do not need to appear for that particular court date. You don't have any other special conditions of your bond other than to not violate the law while you're out, okay? You do have the right to hire your own attorney or be considered for a court-appointed attorney. What would you like to do?
Court appointed.
Okay. Let me see here. All right, I will grant that request. Do you have any questions about your case, Ms. Ballard?
No, sir.
Okay, all right, Ms. Ballard, good luck to you.
Thank you.
You can pen. Next.
Good morning, Your Honor, sir.
All right, good morning. What's your name, ma'am?
Eunice Bell.
Okay, Ms. Bell.
Yes, sir.
Oh, all right, Ms. Bell, you were charged with 1 count of criminal damage to property in the 2nd degree. I'm dismissing the charge against you.
Thank you.
Now that, and I should have made this announcement, but I'll just tell you. I'm dismissing the charge because I don't believe there's enough evidence against you. It looks like this is an incident with a spouse. I don't know if this is spousal property or not. You know, you as a spouse, you have the right to destroy your own stuff, and it's not clear that it's not your stuff. So I can't say that you didn't do that. Certain judges may disagree with that evaluation, but that's the evaluation that I have come to. Now, the state does have, I believe the statute of limitations is 4 years on a felony charge to bring these charges back if they decide to provide more information. I don't know if they will. I don't know if they won't. I'm not going to tell them to. I'm not going to tell them not to. It's none of my business. That's not my role. I just play referee. Okay. Now, with that being said, you know, obviously you are someone that, you know, it's a silly reason to be here, and you're old enough to know better and to behave in a certain way. You're a grown up, obviously. And I understand that, you know, look, sometimes people get on your nerves and make you mad and things like that, but you have to, you know, be a grown up and deal with them in a proper way to where you don't find yourself where you are right now. Because I imagine this is not where you want to be, correct?
No, sir.
I understand. Okay. All right. Well, as long as you don't get yourself into any trouble while you're there and there's no other reason to keep you, if you'll just let us process that paperwork, you'll be free to go, and just make sure we never see you in this circumstance again. Okay.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Good luck to you, Ms. Bell.
Thank you.
Next.
All right. What's your name, ma'am?
Chapman, first name Shanna, Your Honor.
Okay. Mr. Chapman, give me just a second. All right, Ms. Chapman, you are charged with 1 count of public drunkenness, which is a misdemeanor. The bond is 1,000. 1 misdemeanor count of criminal trespass. Misdemeanor, the bond is 1,000. So your total bond is $2,000. Okay. Are you going to be able to make that bond?
I'm going to try. I received a number for Bell's bondsman, so.
Okay. All right. Got it. All right. Your next court date is going to be on September the 26th, but you'll probably not be there. So if you bond out, you don't have to appear for that particular court date. Okay. You do have the right to have a court appointed, to be considered for a court appointed attorney, or hire your own attorney. What would you like to do?
A court appointed, Your Honor.
Okay. Let me see. Okay, it says here that you served in the military before.
I'm currently active duty.
Oh, I see. Gotcha. Okay. I'm going to put that on there. I believe that the court system has some resources for for military folks. So I'm putting that on there so it's very clearly marked for you, and maybe as your case proceeds through the court system, they'll notice that for you. Okay. I am going to grant your request for a court-appointed attorney. Do you have any questions about your case?
No, Your Honor.
Okay, all right. Good luck to you, Ms. Chapman.
All right, thank you.
Okay, Ms. Flores, all right, what's your name?
Trinity Frazier.
Ms. Fraser. Give me just a moment. All right, Ms. Frazier, you were charged with 1 count of aggravated assault, which is a felony, and 1 count of aggravated battery, which is a felony. I am going to grant a bond of $15,000 on each charge. So your total bond is $30,000. You have special condition of your bond to not have any contact with Aldreas or Aldrace Thompson. Let me see here. Did this have the place where this happened? Is that where you live?
Yes,
And does he? It looks like he does not stay there. Is that correct?
correct.
Okay, got it. All right, so I'm not going to put a stay away from your place because that's where you live, not where he stays. So just make sure you do not have any contact with that individual. Okay.
Okay.
Your next court date is on September the 25th, but if you bond out, you do not need to appear for that court date. You do have the right to hire your own attorney or be considered for a court-appointed attorney. What would you like to do?
You guys can provide the attorney.
I'm sorry?
You can provide the attorney.
Okay. All right, I will grant your request for a court-appointed attorney. Do you have any questions about your case?
No,
Okay, good luck to you.
thank you.
Next.
All right, what's your name?
Lawrence.
Miss Lawrence. Just a moment. Miss Lawrence, you are charged with 1 count of simple battery. That is a misdemeanor. I'm going to grant a bond of $2,000. And you do have special condition of your bond to not have any contact with Tamarick Wynn. Okay, so do not have any contact with Tamarick Wynn. Also, as I stated earlier, sometimes I have to put a stay away from a certain location as well. So you do have special condition of your bond to not go back to 701 Mount Zion Road, apartment 2004. However, I am putting in your bond that you can make an appointment with the sheriff's office to go there, and if you need to get any personal belongings, you can, or you can always have somebody get some personal belongings for you if that's what you need to do. If you don't need to do that, great. Now, these conditions are only in place for as long as this order stands. You can have your attorney file a motion to modify your bond conditions, or if your case resolves, some of those conditions may be modified or taken away altogether. Now, your next court date is going to be on September the 26th, but if you bond out, you do not need to appear for that court date. You do have the right to hire your own attorney or be considered for a court-appointed attorney. What would you like to do?
I'd like to be what you just said, the last part, your attorney.
Oh, a court-appointed attorney?
Yes, sir.
Okay, got it. Okay, I will grant that request for you, Ms. Lawrence. Do you have any questions about your case?
No.
Okay, all right. You probably do have questions just based on how, maybe the circumstances and stuff, but again, it's better served for your lawyer down the road and not here, okay? All right, well, good luck to you, Ms. Lawrence.
Thank you, sir.
All right, what's your name?
Danita Yvonne Taylor.
All right, thank you, Ms. Taylor. I was able to hear you very clearly, so I appreciate that. Let me just see here. All right, so Ms. Taylor, you were charged with one count of, oh, I see. One count giving a false name and date of birth, that is a misdemeanor. I'm going to grant a bond of $1,500. And one count of unlawful conduct during 911 call, I am going to grant a bond of $1,500. So your total bond is $3,000. Okay. Now, your next court date is going to be on September the 26th, but if you bond out, you do not need to appear for that court date. You do have the right to, you do have the right to hire your own attorney or be considered for a court-appointed attorney. What would you like to do?
Your Honor, I would like a court-appointed attorney, please.
Okay. All right, Ms. Taylor, I will grant that request for you. Now, do you have any questions about your case?
No, sir. I will state my questions once I get the lawyer. I don't want to waste your time.
That's a very wise thing for you to do, Ms. Taylor. I appreciate that because some people can't help themselves and want to talk to me and it does them no good. So I appreciate that. All right, Ms. Taylor, good luck to you. Let's not see you back here again, okay?
Thank you, Your Honor. Have a blessed day.
Yes, ma'am, you too.
Last one. Ms. Troutman.
All right, what's your name, ma'am?
Traviana Troutman.
All right, Ms. Troutman, you are charged with one count of criminal trespass, misdemeanor, the bond is $1,000, and one count of simple battery, family violence, misdemeanor, the bond is $2,000. So your total bond is $3,000. Now you do have special conditions of your bond to not have any contact with Patricia Butler and Rashante Butler. Now I know that's your family. But until that bond condition is changed or your case is resolved, don't have any contact with them. And then also do not return back to the 6430 Briarwood Court address in Riverdale. Now, just like I told the other person, if you need to get some belongings from there, you can either A, have somebody get those belongings for you, or B, you can go make arrangements through the sheriff's department and they will go with you to make sure that nothing happens to you or nothing happens to anybody at that residence. Your next court date is going to be on September the 26th, but if you bond out, you do not need to appear for that court date. You do have the right to hire your own attorney or be considered for a court-appointed attorney. What would you like to do? I'm sorry?
Do you want a court appointed attorney? You want to see if you qualify? She said, yes, Your Honor.
Okay, all right. It's I'm gonna grant that request for you, Ms. Troutman. Now, here's the thing. Obviously, where you are, these things can become very serious. I understand that, family gets on your nerves and things happen and things are said and things are done, and it's not necessarily indicative of anyone's behavior as a whole, but in certain circumstances, it can be really bad looking at a snapshot of it. in the grand scheme of things, that you're going to make it past this and it will be relatively okay. But that's when you have your lawyer, y'all discuss defenses, and they can take any evidence that you may have to the prosecutor's office for mitigating factors and things of that nature, okay? In the grand scheme of things, it's not that bad, right? It's still bad enough because, of where you are. So let's not make light of the situation. But, you're a young adult. You have to learn, hopefully this is a wake-up call for you, that when you're in a situation that is whether it's your fault, you started it or not, it doesn't really matter to a certain extent, that you have to learn how to deal with these types of situations and not end up where you are right now. So maybe that means removing yourself from the situation, and things like that, okay? So don't be too hard on yourself. It happens. But you will get through it. Just let the process play itself out, okay? All right, do you have any questions? Okay, all right, Ms. Troutman, good luck to you, and let's not see you back in these circumstances, okay? All right. All right, that's all the females that I have.
Yes, that is all the females, Your Honor.
All right, very good. All right, sir, what's your name? Hold on a second. Where's your
He should be number 15.
what's his name?
Gerard Owens.
Oh, Owens. Oh, we're going out of order. Do we not have Anderson?
He has to go back to medical.
Oh, okay, I got you. All right, Mr. Owens, give me just a second, sir. I've got them in alphabetical order, so all right, Mr. Owens. No, just need to sort of point application. All right, Mr. Owens, you've got two charges that are, let me see, when did these occur? Okay, back in July, being aggravated battery, which is a felony, the bond is $75,000, and one theft by taking, I believe that's a misdemeanor, the bond is $1,000. Then you have charges that just occurred. Theft by taking, the bond misdemeanor, the bond is $1,000. Driving on the wrong side of the road, the bond is $500. Reckless driving, misdemeanor, the bond is $2,000. Fleeing and eluding from police, I believe that's a felony charge, the bond is $5,000. Obstruction of an officer, the bond is $1,000. Possession of a marijuana less than an ounce, the bond is $1,000. Violation of Georgia Controlled Substances Act, that's a felony, the bond is $2,000. Another count of VGCSA, the bond is use or possession of drug-related objects, the bond is $5,000. Hit and run, the bond is $1,000. So your total bond is going to be 75, 76, 78, 79, 80, 85, 86, 87, 90, 91, 92. If I did this correctly, your total bond is $92,000, but you'll get a copy of the form and you can add it up if you need to. Also, you do have a special condition to not have any contact with Akia Broughton, so do not have any contact with that person. Your next court date is going to be on September the 25th. If you do not bond out, but if you do bond out, then you will not need to appear for that particular court date. You do have the right to hire your own attorney or be considered for a court-appointed attorney. What would you like to do? I'm sorry?
I would like one appointment, please.
Okay, got it. All right, Mr. Owens, I will grant that request. Do you have any questions about your case?
Also.
Okay, all right, good luck to you, sir.
Appreciate it.
All right, what's your name, sir?
I'm Anderson.
All right, Mr. Anderson, you were charged with one felony count of terroristic threats. Bond is going to be 5,000. You do have not have any contact with Zoe Clayton. Next court date is going to be on September the 25th, but if you bond out, you do not need to appear for that court date. You do have the right to hire your own attorney or be considered for a court-appointed attorney. What would you like to do?
For the point of the person.
Okay. You guys, I don't know if y'all are standing a little bit far away. Just make sure you guys speak up just a little bit louder so I can hear you, okay? All right, I will grant that request. All right, do you have any questions about your case?
No.
Okay, all right, good luck to you, sir.
Thank you. I'll be there.
All right.
If you know where you're going, you can go back.
Mhm.
You know where you're going? All right. Your phone? Thank you.
All right, what's your name, sir?
Robert Banks.
All right, Mr. Banks, you are charged with one count of simple battery. The bond is, which is a misdemeanor. The bond is 4,000. One count of false imprisonment. That's a felony charge. The bond is 4,000. And then one count of criminal trespass. The bond is 1,000. For a total bond of $9,000. Now you do have a special condition of your bond to not have any contact with Martina Banks. Also, you're not allowed to return back to the 2604 Carnes Crossing Way in Jonesboro. Now, if you need to get any belongings from there, I have marked that you are allowed to make arrangements with the sheriff's department and they'll go with you to get any belongings. Or you can have someone get your belongings for you. And this is only in place until your case is resolved or your attorney files a motion to modify your bond conditions, okay? Your next court date is going to be on September the 25th, but if you bond out, you do not need to appear for that court date. You do have the right to hire your own attorney or be considered for a court-appointed attorney. What would you like to do?
Consider for a court-appointed attorney, please.
Okay, all right, I will grant that request for you, Mr. Banks. Do you have any questions about your case?
Not at this time, no.
Okay, all right, Mr. Banks, good luck to you.
No, go in there, because you have to be escorted, because you're an intake.
Go in here.
Mhm.
What's your name?
Hold up, sure.
Mr. Bashir, you are charged with one count of misdemeanor assault. The bond is 10,000. One misdemeanor count of obstruction. The bond is 1,000. And one misdemeanor count of possession of marijuana less than an ounce. The bond is 1,000. So your total bond is $12,000. You do have a special conditions to not have any contact with Ridke Eugene, but it doesn't look like you know who that is. So that shouldn't be very difficult for you. Your next court date is going to be on September the 26th, but if you bond out, you do not need to appear for that court date. You do have the right to hire your own attorney or be considered for a court-appointed attorney. What would you like to do?
Court-appointed.
I understand. I got you. Okay. All right, Mr. Bashir, I will grant that request for you. Do you have any questions about your case?
No, sir.
Okay. All right, Mr. Bashir, good luck to you.
Thank you.
Mhm. All right, what's your name, sir?
Kevin Hill.
All right, Mr. Hill, you were charged with one count of aggravated assault, which is a felony. The bond is 25,000, and then one misdemeanor count of obstruction. The bond is 1,000. So your total bond is 26,000. You do have a special condition to not have any contact with Maya Taylor, so do not have any contact with that person. Your next court date is going to be on September the 25th, but if you bond out, you do not need to appear for that court date. You do have the right to hire your own attorney or be considered for a court-appointed attorney. What would you like to?
Court-appointed attorney.
Okay. Spring Valley address, is that where you stay?
What's the address?
The Spring Valley Drive address, that's your residence?
Yeah, yes, sir.
Okay, got it. And is that where Miss Taylor lives as well, or no?
No, she does not live there.
Got it. Okay, just want to make sure. All right. I'm going to grant your request for a court-appointed attorney. Do you have any questions?
No, no, sir.
Okay. All right. Good luck to you, sir. What's your name?
Franklin, Gene Franklin.
All right, Mr. Franklin.
Yes,
You
sir.
were charged with one count of battery misdemeanor. The bond is 5,000. One count misdemeanor driving in the gore. The bond is 1,000. No license misdemeanor. The bond is 1,000. Fleeing and eluding. I believe this is the misdemeanor version. Let me check. Yep. Bond is 1,000. Obstruction of an officer, 1,500, and giving false name, address, or date of birth. The bond is 1,500. So your total bond, sir, is 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 11,000. Okay. You do have a special condition to not have any contact with Chastity Dorsey. So do not have any contact with that person. Your next court date is going to be on September the 26th. But if you bond out, you do not need to appear for that court date. You do have the right to hire your own attorney or be considered for a court-appointed attorney. What would you like to do?
I think I just try to give me an attorney for now.
I'm sorry?
Speak clearly.
You could appoint me to an attorney until I get out so I can figure it out, sir.
Okay. All right.
Appreciate it.
All right. Any other questions?
No, so far, thank you.
All right. Good luck to you, sir.
You have a good day.
All right. All right. What's your name, sir?
It's Marie Johnson.
Mr. Johnson. Oh, looks like you just have some traffic offenses. Possession of marijuana less than an ounce, misdemeanor, the bond is $1,000. Defective headlights, the bond is 500. No license, the bond is 1,000. Brake lights, 500, and then violation of seatbelt. I'm actually going to change that to 100. Give me just a second. I'll change this to 100. I'll change this to 100. Okay, let me start over. All right, you're charged with one count of misdemeanor marijuana. The bond is 1,000. Defective headlights, I'm changing it from 500 to 100. No license, 1,000. Brake light violation, I'm changing it from 500 to 100. And then seatbelt from 500 to 100. So your total bond is 2,300 instead of 3,000. So 2,300 is your total. Yeah, save you about $1,200 right there. All right. Your next court date is going to be on September the 26th, 9/26, but if you bond out, you do not have to appear for that court date, okay? You do have the right to hire your own attorney or be considered for a court-appointed attorney. What would you like to do?
What a time.
Okay. All right, I will grant that request for you. Do you have any questions about your case?
No, sorry.
All right, good luck to you, sir.
Thanks, please.
All right, what's your name, sir? All right, sir, you're charged with one count of pedestrian in a walkway misdemeanor. The bond is 500. One felony count of trafficking. The bond is 30,000. One count of possession of a weapon during commission of a crime. The bond is 15,000, and one count of theft by receiving stolen property. Bond is 15,000. So your total bond is $60,500. Your next court date is going to be on September the 25th. But if you bond out, you do not need to appear for that court date. You do have the right to hire your own attorney or be considered for a court-appointed attorney. What would you like to do?
Be appointed until I get out.
Okay, that's fine. All right, do you have any questions about your case?
No.
All right, good luck to you, sir.
We can go back. He's housing in four.
All right, what's your name, sir?
Shahid Mustafa, Your Honor.
All right, sir, you are charged with one count of simple battery, which is a misdemeanor. The bond is going to be $2,000. Okay.
Yes, sir.
All right. You do have a special condition to not have any contact with Miss Simone Mustafa. Let's see. Also, do not return back to the 1738 Port West Way address. I am putting in your bond paperwork that you are allowed to go back, but you have to make arrangements with the sheriff's department to get any belongings if you need to get anything. If you don't need to get anything, then that's fine. Or you can always have somebody get your belongings for you until your case is resolved or an attorney files a motion to modify the bond conditions, okay? Your next court date is going to be on September the 26th, but if you bond out, you do not need to appear for that court date. You do have the right to hire your own attorney or be considered for a court-appointed attorney. What would you like to do?
Court appointed.
Okay. All right, Mr. Mustafa, I will grant that request for you. Do you have any questions about your case?
No, Your Honor.
Okay. All right, Mr. Mustafa, good luck to you, sir.
Thank you, Your Honor. You guys know.
All right, what's your name? All right, sir. You were charged with one misdemeanor count of obstruction. The bond is 1,000. One misdemeanor count of fleeing from police. The bond is 1,500. One count of theft by receiving stolen property. Give me just a second. I am dismissing the theft by receiving stolen property charge, okay? Now here's the thing. I don't know if you heard me tell, there was a lady where I dismissed her charge. The statute of limitations is 4 years, okay? On a felony, if I'm not mistaken. That charge may come back if more evidence is presented to another judge or the prosecuting office gathers more evidence about that. The reason why I'm dismissing that is because there's no victim listed. So I don't know who allegedly that car belongs to. Maybe it's you, maybe it's a family member. I don't know. Yes. So that's why I'm dismissing it. But don't be surprised if that charge comes back up. I'm not going to tell anybody to. That's not my place. my place is just evaluate the charges as they come before me. So they didn't put that information, so I'm kicking it. And then you have a stop sign violation. The bond is $500. Okay, so your total bond is $3,000 total. Okay. I'll have to enter an order dismissing that charge against you, but that'll be done when I submit the bond paperwork with my signature on it. Okay. So you no longer have any felony charges. Well, they say that the eluding is a felony. Okay. Well, we'll bound it up and we'll see what that happens. Your next court date is going to be on the 25th. Actually, you know what? I'm going to make that a misdemeanor because there's not enough there. So now you're only charged with misdemeanors now. Okay. Again, I'm only doing what I believe I'm supposed to be doing, but that may change in the future. So I'm just giving you a heads up. Okay.
Yes, sir.
All right. You do have the right to hire your own attorney or be considered for a court-appointed attorney. What would you like to do?
And I'll be given one?
Well, that's what I'm saying. You filled out this application. I can look at it and see if you qualify.
Yes, sir. That's what I'm trying to do.
Okay. All right. I will go ahead and Grant, hold on a second. Oh, you're born in 2003. Oh, so you just turned 20. Okay, got it. All right. Is it Plowden? Is that how you say your last name?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right, Mr. Plowden, I'm going to grant that request for a court-appointed attorney. I'm sure they'll have conversations with you about this, but I just wanted to give you a heads up, okay? Do you have any questions?
No, sir.
Okay. All right. Good luck to you, sir. Please don't come back. All right. What's your name, sir?
Brian Robbins.
Robbins. You were charged with one misdemeanor count of a tag violation. The bond is $500. One misdemeanor count of loitering or prowling. The bond is $1,000. One misdemeanor count of theft by taking. The bond is $2,000. And one felony count of identity fraud. The bond is $4,500. So the total bond is 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So your total bond is $8,000. Okay.
Yes, sir.
All right. Your next court date is going to be on September the 25th. But if you bond out, you do not need to appear for that court date. You do have the right to hire your own attorney. You do have special conditions to not have any contact with Susan Gantner or Muhammad Aziz Rahmans. Now, you may not know who those people are, so it'll probably be easy for you to stay away from them. But even if you do know who they are, just don't have any contact with them. And it'll be laid out in the bond order, okay? You do have the right to hire your own attorney or be considered for a court-appointed attorney. What would you like to do?
Court-appointed attorney.
Okay. All right, sir. I will grant that request. Do you have any questions?
Yes, sir.
All right. Good luck to you, sir.
Thank you.
Mhm. Oh, what's your name, sir?
Michael Summer.
All right, Mr. Sommer, you are charged with one misdemeanor count of loitering or prowling. The bond is $1,000. One misdemeanor count of criminal trespass. The bond is $1,000. Oh yes, I remember this. Mr. Sommer, the only special condition of your bond is to not go back to 5701 Jonesboro Road. Just don't go back to that address, okay? I understand that you may have a little bit of trouble and need of resources and things, but I would suggest that if you there are ways of getting resources in the county that may be able to help you out other than just going and kind of, just going places that you're not supposed to be, okay? Next court date is going to be on September the 26th, but if you bond out, you do not need to appear for that court date. You do have the right to hire your own attorney or be considered for a court-appointed attorney. What would you like to do? Okay. Okay. All right. I will grant that request for you, Mr. Sommer. Do you have any questions?
What was the court date again?
September the 26th, but if you bond out, you don't have to go to that court date. You'll get another date in the mail, okay?
Okay, and my bond is set at what, sir?
$2,000 total.
Okay.
All right, any other questions?
No, Your Honor.
All right, good luck to you, sir.
Thank you.
All right, that's all that I have.
Yes, that is it, Your Honor. You have a good rest of your weekend.
All right, thank you. Take care.